All right, let's go straight to our top story today. Trump on trial. Political heavy hitters coming out in New York City today to support the former president.
House Speaker Mike Johnson and VP contenders Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum, and Byron Donalds all in attendance to watch disgraced lawyer Michael Cohen take the stand.
That's right. The former president's allies, all with some choice words about what's going on in New York City in the courtroom.
I am disgusted by what is happening here, what is being done here to our entire system of justice overall. The people are losing faith right now in this country.
You have to ask yourself, what is this all about? And I think the only conclusion, of course, is it's election interference and it's tying up the president from being out on the campaign trail.
I would like for anybody here in the press, anybody at home, anybody at MSNBC or the media afterwards, to clearly state what exactly is the crime that Donald Trump committed.
This is a joke. It is a farce. It is a travesty. We are better than this as Americans.
The last man we just heard from joins us now. That is Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Good to be with you.
Congressman, you've been watching today's proceedings. You call it a joke, a farce, a travesty of justice. I'm not going to say I disagree with you in the slightest. What have you seen from prosecutors in disgraced former attorney Michael Cohen?
Well, first of all, let me take the prosecutors. What I've seen from them is absolutely nothing. They've not displayed anything that would demonstrate, oh, here are the bookkeeping irregularities. Let's demonstrate them. Oh, here's how this ties into the 26 campaign. Let's do that. They didn't provide any of that. If anything, what was presented also was the fact that the FEC made a statement that there was nothing to be seen here, and they did not engage in this. Also, they demonstrated that, yes, Michael Cohen invoiced the Trump organization, and then the Trump organization made payments to Michael Cohen. They classified it as legal expenses. That is not a crime. That is not illegal. So they didn't do anything. And then when you bring in Michael Cohen, the man is such a disgrace. The man has been on every side of this issue, contradictory statements. He looked, frankly, like a shell of himself. Forget what you see on TikTok and social media. The man looked like he had no reason even to be in that courtroom, except for the fact that he is a disgrace and he is a liar. He has perjured himself in front of Congress, and he's also evaded taxes. This is a joke. Like I said earlier, there's no crime here. And so what's really important is that somebody on that jury, hopefully the entire jury, looks at this case for what it really is. It is political interference. It is election interference. This is third world banana republic stuff. Donald Trump is innocent. I don't know what we're doing here in New York except playing politics.
Congressman, obviously it was important for you to come to New York City today to be there to support the former president. Why did you decide to do that? And also tell us a little bit about what it's like in the courtroom, not just for Michael Cohen, but for former President Trump.
Well, honestly, I just wanted to come up and show my support for the president. I was going to be in New York later today, looked at my wife and said, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and go up to New York and be supportive of the president. I was happy to actually find out that, Speaker Johnson, Governor Burgum, and Vivek Ramaswamy, as well as Corey Mills, were all going to be here with me. So we all had an opportunity to watch this firsthand. I will tell you, in the courtroom, it's serious because when you're dealing with a criminal case, it's always serious. But you could just see through the fact that the prosecution has no case. And if the American people take one moment to look at this travesty of justice, they'll realize that first, Donald Trump is innocent, but second, they'll realize that the Democrat Party are colluding to destroy their political rival using the justice system. That is un-American, and Joe Biden and the Democrats need to be defeated just because of that. Forget the fact that Joe Biden's the master of disaster and everything has gone wrong under his presidency, but the fact that they would turn our justice system into a weapon against a political rival, that is un-American. We are better than this.
Certainly is. And look at what we're talking about today, Congressman Katrina. Michael Cohen on the stand, Trump on trial. Not talking about Biden's record. My God, on inflation. It's historically bad. It's awful. It's going to be a lasting legacy to rebound from 20% inflation over the course of his presidency. Really hard to do. Do you find that being also an issue, Congressman, the fact we're not talking about Joe Biden's record?
Yeah, it is an issue that we're not talking about it, but even the fact that we're here and nobody on the media is not talking about it, that means everybody's talking about it, because people are sitting at home and be like, wait a minute, they still got Trump on trial over foolishness, but inflation is wrecking my budget. The border is wide open. We have fentanyl killing 100,000 Americans a year. We're on the verge of World War III because Joe Biden is not a leader. And couple that with the fact we're $35 trillion in debt and rising. This administration has been the very worst. Joe Biden is the master of disaster, the worst president in American history. I got to think of a couple more names. Donald Trump calls him Crooked Joe, and Donald Trump is correct. There are more things going on in this country than what's happening here in New York. And I think that frustrates a lot of people because they're seeing the fact that the country is crumbling in front of our very eyes, but all the press and all the Democrats want to talk about is some bookmaking charge, which isn't even a bookmaking charge, because if you look at the actual evidence, it demonstrates that the Trump organization accounted for this stuff appropriately. So I don't even understand where the underlying misdemeanor is. Forget the felony. Where's the underlying misdemeanor?
Congressman, what do you believe this show of support by you and your colleagues means more broadly for the Republican Party, especially as we're heading into the 2024 election?
Well, this is not about Republicans in the Republican Party. This is about Americans. I think what it demonstrates is that you have people who are willing to stand in the face of this tragedy of our justice system and really this tragedy for our country. There are Republicans, independents, and Democrats who love this country, who want us to be a country where justice is blind, a country that can thrive and succeed, where kids can go to school and actually just learn, where cities can be safe. That's what our people want. And so we stand in the face of this stuff collectively, because if it demonstrates that we're here standing behind President Trump, it gives, I believe, Americans the courage to stand up to these radical attacks from the left that are destroying the Democrat Party.
Congressman, we got about a minute to go. What do you think about not just uniting the GOP, uniting the country, to your point about the fact that you have a Justice Department that has just been totally weaponized? If it can happen to former President Trump, the GOP nominee, come after the convention this summer, it can happen to anybody here. This is such a big case historically for those ramifications beyond.
Then when you bring into the fact the weaponization of our government in the justice system, suppressing the free speech of the American people, leaving our borders wide open on purpose, America can no longer afford the craziness of Joe Biden and the radical Democrats. We need the common sense, America first approach.
We know that you have to get back in the courtroom, but we also know that the defense will be cross-examining Michael Cohen. Any particular thing that you want them to ask or that you hope that they touch on?
No, they're very confident, but the only thing I'm going to get back in the courtroom because, to quote Terrell Owens, you better get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a show when they cross-examine Michael Cohen. All
right, Congressman Byron Donalds, thanks for taking a break and spending it with us on American Agenda. We appreciate it.
Thank you.